Welcome to English 102. I'm Dr. Malone and I will be your instructor for the summer. So I'm going to give you a course overview. At the beginning, I'm going to talk more about the rationale behind the course, and by the end, you'll know what are the major assignments and how is the course set up. So, in English 101, you talked about composing in general. Maybe you discussed how to write arguments, how to create your own voice through your writing. And then you were able to compose lots of things like narratives and argument papers, but also maybe some videos and multimodal projects as well. English 102 is a little different. It's more focused on research and composing using academic sources. For this class, we are going to choose to focus on social media as the theme of our writing course. So right now, social media is so embedded in all of our lives, it feels like it's just natural, like it's always been there. But when we step back and think about it, it really affects a lot. It didn't used to be the way, but now that social media exists, it affects our romantic relationships. It affects products and services, entertainment choices. Believe it or not, it affects the way you grieve the loss of loved ones. It affects your understanding of medical conditions and what treatments are available, your cognition and brain development, your expectations about the world and what's possible and what you should be doing in it. It also affects your political and civic engagement, as well as the economy, mental health and well-being, for example. So before we get started, I'm just going to show you it's not a natural element. Social media has not always existed. And so sort of as a part of a way to introduce myself to you, and also to help us understand how these things are changing all the time and affecting us differently, I am going to go through a brief social media history of myself. So get ready. So I joined Facebook in 2005, and Facebook I think began in 2003 or 4, and at first it was just supposed to be for your college only. So in order to join Facebook, you had to have a .edu college email address, and I joined just to see the information of the people who were on Facebook at my college. Only later it opened up to all colleges, then high schools, then eventually to everyone. So it was very much an insular experience. It really connected me to a small community. And the concept of the Facebook album was very big. So the album was just basically where you put every picture you'd taken from whatever event you just went to. You were not discerning. It was not like picking the perfect image for the grid. It was anything flew, such as, for example, all of the following images came from the same Facebook album that I posted in roughly 2008. So yeah, I was really an interesting person. Also, I then graduated and moved to France. And I still had Facebook at the time, but it was still early on in the history of social media. And because I was moving away from college and I was doing other things, I unfriended a lot of people because for me, I was like, well, I'm not really going to talk to them anymore. But I did not realize this was right in that transition period where unfriending people became a kind of slap in the face. Then I deleted my Facebook account and had no social media whenever I started teaching public school because I was really afraid of my friends, of my students friending me. This was around 2012 or 13. But I did get Instagram and I started low-key sharing a lot of pictures of me as a child, a different looking child. That's me on the right. That's me on the left. So I continued to use Instagram throughout the mid to late 2010s, and I was really into making stories, mostly about rewatching old episodes of Star Trek or the kinds of experiences I had whenever I was nannying, which I did for about 4 years when I lived in Atlanta. But when I got separated from my husband and then divorced in about 2017, I realized that Instagram was kind of like an archive of history with my partner, and it was difficult for me to contend with. I also found that I was using it to stalk my exes and to lurk around stalking my current partner's exes, and I didn't like that behavior. Not to mention, I spent hours watching slime videos, anyone? And looking up tattoo pages. So I just deleted the entire account. But even I know that that is kind of a generational impulse because the girls who were Gen Z that I was nannying for, they would just delete all of the images on their account. That was like socially acceptable to them. But for my generation, generation, it really kind of wasn't. So that's just an interesting difference. My current accounts that I have are Facebook for my work. It's really become a more formal space for me. I do kind of have a burner Instagram, but it's mainly not for me to follow my friends or to post about myself, but to see information about local venues and restaurant stuff and that kind of thing. But can't lie, I still have some bad habits on Instagram. Help me. So, yes, this is TMI. Why are you telling us this? Well, the first one is that past classes have emphasized the need for connecting with their instructor. So, dude, what better way? You just know a lot of really embarrassing information about me. But also, I think it prompts you to think about the ways that social media is embedded in your life, not in a way that is natural, in a way that is constructed. Also, it gives you a chance to think about, well, what platforms am I going to research? What issues do I want to think about? So as we continue to justify the reason for this topic, I have an old lady theory, and that is that I, as an older millennial, and people above my age kind of can opt out of life mediated by social media. So I can choose not to use social media or to use it for sure. But I feel like younger generations kind of don't have that same luxury. And being a part of a social media community can open up a lot of interesting possibilities that my generation didn't have. But we have to face the fact that living your life mediated through social media limits other possibilities and poses some real potential harms that you're going to have to deal with. A writing class should be something that allows you to write about something that interests you, that affects you, that challenges you. And I believe that social media is broad enough to capture these individual interests. And as a byproduct, it will allow you to reflect on the role that social media plays in your life and how you might be more intentional about using it in the future. So here is our major assignment that you will complete by the end of the summer. You are going to create an academic argument about social media where you are going to argue for how users should, number one, either understand the effects of some social media platform or interact with and advocate for the use of that platform. So here's what it looks like. You're going to participate in class by reading and discussing the impacts of social media on activism, politics, business, relationships, all of these things. Then you are going to choose one specific platform such as Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat to study and research. Then you're going to find academic and popular sources that discuss the impact of this platform. Finally, or you'll also conduct some primary research where you will do some polls, surveys, or interviews in order to answer your research question and form an argument. Finally, you will make an argument that presents your educated stance on this platform and compose a thesis that announces your major claim and write an essay to support that thesis. You'll also have the final project that you'll do is to compose an actual social media post, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case may be, and you're going to present one major idea from your argument paper. So the post has to include a unique visual that you will create, and we're going to talk about visual design as well as some instruction on how to use some of these apps that will allow you to create these visuals. So as far as the work that you're going to do in these classes, every single bit of the homework you do is specifically designed to get you to that final project. So the homework will allow you to learn how to read and interpret academic articles. It will help you locate good academic sources to use for evidence. You're going to find reliable popular sources. You're going to even conduct primary research and gather additional evidence. You're going to reflect on what you've learned and develop unique ideas, and then you're going to compose well-structured essays as well as design some basic graphics for social media. So the way the class works is this. You're going to have modules for each week on Canvas. So I think there are 9 weeks in class. You have a week 1, week 2, etc. There are going to be pages that give you instructions for how to complete the homework for each week. There's also going to be checklists at the end that says, have you done all the things you need to do that fully allow you to complete the homework? The homework is going to be due, and it is a discussion post usually that requires some attachments and answering some questions, and those are always due on Sunday night by midnight. So you're welcome to work ahead, but you have the entire week theoretically, from Monday to Sunday, to systematically complete all of the homework, and I suggest getting started as early as possible. Homework is the most important part of this class. I think it means a lot more if you are consistently thinking, reading, and working and writing throughout the week and semester, or summer rather, than if you just get all the papers done. The homework matters to me, and I think it should matter to you. Major assignments are also due on Sunday nights at midnight, and you're welcome to go ahead and look at the syllabus and the course schedule for some specific details. Those are listed in the first module on Canvas that is called Important Course Documents. Please remember that I am available for meetings over Zoom by request at any time. Feel free to email me any time of the week to ask to speak to me over Zoom, and I am happy to accommodate that. So here is my email, and I'm really looking forward to reading your work and getting to know you. Please feel free to reach out at any point.